Before we dive into the strategies that makes this system successful and
Yeah.
how it works and all that, I want to first dive into what sparked the interest in me wanting to know more about
Perfect.
you. So, guys, this guy is incredible at something that every single one of you should be doing, and I'm sure a lot of you already are, and if not, it's clinics. It's events and stuff that you can host, educational events at your fitness studios or at your gyms that will attract the community. Maybe they are your customers already, which is great to provide great value to your customers because they usually can bring friends to these clinics and family members, but also to people that are not part of the community. So let's say you were having a shape and tone clinic, a nutritional clinic, a cardio clinic. It didn't matter. There's so many clinics and topics you could have. You partner with other people like chiropractors, massage therapists, or doctors, physicians, nutritionists, restaurants, whatever, that have a large audience that's similar, and they could bring people to you as sponsors, right?
Yep.
So now you got all these people coming in, and I've seen fitness studios do this. They have 50 people, 100 people come to these events. It's educational, great value. People rave about it when it's over. Maybe they sign up 1 or 2 people that were layups, right?
Right.
But for the most part, once it's over, everyone stands up, everyone starts walking out. The speaker, usually the host of, or the gym owner, right, the fitness studio owner, is there, and 1 or 2 people come and line up and just ask some questions.
Yep.
Everyone is filing out the door.
Yep.
And maybe you signed up a few people from it, but you got great feedback, and that feels good. You know what I'm saying,
Yes,
right?
I do. Yes,
okay.
I do.
So
Compliments, but not conversions. Yeah.
compliments but not conversions. And at the end of the day, we did this for one reason. One main reason is we really want to be able to grow our business, and we feel like this can do it.
Right.
You are, I haven't seen anybody do this better than you. And I'm not saying it because you're here. I literally have not seen anybody host events that create conversions better than you. So for you guys listening in and watching, I've been 5 years in a row now. I probably watched 3 times I've been to your event. He's got 100 to 200 people in the room, sometimes more. They're all listening and engaged because you're providing great value along the way, stuff that keeps people going, taking notes. And then at the end of it, I'm not kidding, it seems like half the room is running to the back of the room to go ahead and line up and pay your program, which is extremely expensive. I mean, when I say extremely expensive, I say extremely expensive to what I think people expected to pay when they get in there.
Yeah, it's not $100, right?
It's not $100, but you built the value so high that to them it's a steal. Like, and it is, right? Because they understand what you do. They understand how you help. I think every business owner would love to say, I have the ability to host an event, and after it's over, I have people running to be the first ones to sign up and join my business, right? As far as the customer goes. So what I want to know from you, to be able to provide value to everybody here, what's your plan going into this event? What do you know you have to do? What's your process throughout it? And then how do you funnel everything towards the end where people are just waiting for you to say, go?
Yeah. Okay, so I think the first thing that we ought to start with is I want to expand the definition of event.
Okay.
Just for whoever's watching that does like one-on-one sessions.
Okay.
So like it's cool that people have 50 and 100, but I also want for the business to think about when they've got one client coming in,
Okay.
the exact same principles we're about to talk about apply.
Okay.
So I want to expand it because there's a lot more value than just, oh, I've got 50 people coming in, or oh, this only applies at 10. This is like an event is you and at least one other person.
Got it.
So you have 1,000 or one, it's kind of the same thing. You can do more things if you have one, but the same principles apply. So the first thing, I'm going to allude back to what you said, because the first thing is to remember why you're doing the event in the first place.
Right.
And most people will tell you why they're doing it, but they don't actually, like, it's not actually why they're doing it. So most people, what happens is they actually put an event on and they think the reason why is to do an event.
Okay.
And it shows in the event. Like if you run an event and you've got 1 or 2 people hanging around afterwards and you had 50 people in the room, I know that you put the event on to have an event, not to sell. Now you might tell yourself that you're doing it to sell, but you didn't actually architect the event where the outcome was that people would come by. There's no possible way unless you are horrible, which I don't think that most people are.
Right.
So what happens first is you got to recognize like this, to help draw this principle out, I want to talk about it in terms of how you convert leads into clients. Most people will go create lead magnets. So people familiar with lead magnets, right? You talk about that concept?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and Sam, just put a lead magnet definition on the screen too. Okay. Go ahead.
So most people are familiar with lead magnets, and they put up lead magnets and they think it's to get a lead.
Okay.
It's not. It's to get the lead to do the next step.
Okay.
And what happens is if you're creating a lead magnet knowing that the next step is, hey, they've got to come talk to me one-on-one, then everything that goes into the lead magnet will change.
Okay.
The name of it, the content of it, how you deliver it, how you follow up, all changes knowing that the only reason why you do it is to get to somebody to go to the next step. Events the same way. So when I go into a speaking gig or if we're running an event here, I get my mind very first and foremost wrapped around what is the outcome that I'm trying to create at the end of the event. And then everything that I'm going to put into my presentation, everything that I'm going to architect from when they walk in the door, how we greet them, how we talk to them, what handouts we give them, what the curriculum is, what the content is, it only goes in if it supports the end outcome that the person's going to buy.
Right.
And that may sound really simple, but it's like absolutely critical, because there's a lot of times what happens is you got a lot of fitness people. By nature, they're teachers.
Right.
They're trainers. And I know this because I'm by nature a teacher and a trainer. So I had events that were apparently before you came where I did a lot more teaching than I did effective selling. So the first step is like you're not there to teach. You're there to teach so they buy.
Okay.
And there's a big difference between those two statements. So you've got to be getting our mind wrapped around, I'm going to have 50 or 100 people come out and I'm teaching, but I'm only teaching the stuff that will have them buy. I'm not teaching the stuff so they're like, oh, this guy's really amazing, and then he walks out.
Right.
So that's principle number one, is you've got to know why you're running the event, and you've got to architect everything in the event around whatever the outcome is.
Okay. So guys, really quick, just so you know, I heard an analogy for this once before. The lead magnet and what you're talking about here, if you think of like an amateur pool player, right? All they care about is making that first ball, the easiest one, into the pocket.
Yes.
Whereas somebody that's more professional, they don't necessarily go for the easiest one. They're already thinking about the next shot. Once I hit this ball, where's my ball going to end up? Am I teed up for the next one?
Yes.
And so it's the same thing between being an amateur advertiser or marketer and being one that's a little bit more advanced. You're not just looking at that first step of the funnel. You're thinking, how does this affect my next step and my next step, and ultimately winning this game?
Yeah, the event is a failure if people don't buy, period.
Right.
The lead magnet's a failure if people don't take the next step, period. That's like the whole point of it. So that's the first thing, is getting really anchored on, okay, what's the outcome that I want to have them take, so that everything can be architected that way. Second thing that I go into is the offer. So at the end, I'm going to have them buy something.
Right.
And a lot of times what people will do is they'll just take like a standard product or a standard service and they'll just kind of describe it and put it out there like, okay, yeah, no, come buy it because I'm really smart.
Right.
And that works to get it works to get a lot of compliments. Doesn't work so well if you want to get conversions. So what I do is I want my offers to be just stupid obvious.
Okay.
So when I'm organizing it, and there are a lot of training programs out there about how to put together offers and how to sell from stage. When I'm organizing it, I have like whatever my core offer is, and I'm trying to put bonuses in place. And I literally go through the process where I'm putting it together until I feel myself want to buy it.
Got it. That's awesome.
So like I feel myself, and I've got to get my mind, and it's not just want to buy it, but I've got people that have been sitting there listening, and they're hearing a bunch of new stuff, and then I'm going to ask them to make an investment of time and an investment of money, and they've got to want it bad enough that they'll get up out of their seat and they'll go to the back of the room. So when I put it together, I go through, I'm like, that doesn't, like that logically makes sense. So I'm not saying, oh, I want that like logically. I'm saying I go through the offer until I get to the point where like literally I feel drawn towards what it is that I'm offering. So
like it's illogical not to get out of your seat and go.
Exactly.
Like extremely illogical.
Yes, exactly. So if I'm looking in like a fitness business, or I've got people coming out for a clinic, it can't just be, oh yeah, so we've got a membership, come sign up.
Right.
It's like, all right, look, so we got a membership, and normally it's at this rate, and if you sign up, one of the bonuses you get if you sign up before you leave is it's going to be discounted for life or for 6 months. And I'm not going to stop there. And on top of that, I'm going to give you this other bonus. Well, you stack it up where it's like the value has already been set here.
We're going to give you a couple shirts that branded with it. Also, we're going to get you sitting down with a consultant on your nutrition. He's going to write out your meal plans, setting up for the next 90 days of success.
Yes.
And then on top of that, normally we only do measurements once a month. We're going to do that once a week for you until you reach that 90-day period. Basically, we're putting you on a path to be successful. So you're giving more than the membership at a cheaper price than the membership. Not really a ton of time on your end, but a ton of value for them.
Yeah, and that's the key, right? So if you look at it, you've got somebody sitting in a chair who's going to make a decision, and they're going to immediately know if they want it or not, based on how you're presenting it. It's like, oh, I want that. And now what they're doing is they're trying to find a reason to say no. So they're starting to go through all, like, it might be like, oh, well, that's not enough check-ins for me. Or, well, what about my meal plan? I don't have time to go do that.
Right.
So you're right. What you want to look for to stack on is you want to stack on the bonuses that have an extremely high amount of perceived value that require the least amount of time possible. And if you're early stage in your business where it's like, I need clients, it doesn't matter how much time it takes.
Right.
Like if we talked about the first year of this business, it would be a really sad episode. So if you want like a nightmare episode, we can talk about that. But like you would be like, you got to give whatever you got to give to get the person to want to move. And as you grow, you can afford to do things that take less of your time. Early on, it might be more of your time, and that's fine.
Right.
You're picking up clients. You can figure out the other details later. So first is architect the whole thing to know what the outcome is.
Right.
And really you got to change your indicator of success. You have to be pissed off when people say, oh, that was a great session, and they don't buy.
Like you didn't do something right.
You have to be pissed off, because right now, if anybody is having the situation you described, 1 to 2 buy, 50 to 100 show up, and they're not pissed afterwards, like you can't fake that you're pissed.
Right.
And you'll know. If this is you, you'll know. Like inside, you're like externally, like, oh man, didn't get clients.
It was a good event though.
But internally, like, yeah, but I got really good feedback. It's like, no, like you got to be like, feedback, screw the feedback. People didn't buy. What do we do wrong? We got to go back to the drawing table and figure this crap out.
The best feedback is, I want to be a part of this.
Yeah, the best feedback goes like this. Okay, look, here's my credit card right here. I'm ready to go, right?
That's great feedback.
Okay, so 1 is know the outcome. 2 is create your offer to the point where you're like, holy crap, like I want to buy that for myself, and I'm the one that's actually delivering it.
Right.
And then the third piece that I walk through is knowing that I'm committed to the outcome of them buying, and knowing what I'm trying to get them to buy. Now I'm going to architect every single thing that I do leading up to it is about highlighting the benefits to get them excited about why they should buy it, and also proactively attacking all the reasons why they won't.
Okay.
And I'm teaching it. It's not like, so this is what I don't do. I don't teach something, then go in and say, hey, here's the thing you should buy, and then go in and say, okay, and here's all the reasons you should buy it, and here are all the things you're probably thinking, and here's why you should not worry about them. That doesn't work.
Right.
You want to seed it ahead of time. And the last piece is, every element that I'm going to put in my offer, I want to have already talked about in my presentation at least once.
So if you are planning on giving away, let's say, a meal plan for the next 90 days, you want to talk about earlier on the importance of nutrition and planning your meals out.
And ideally it would be in the context of a client story, right? So hey, we work with this client, and one of the things they did, they bought this extra meal plan. It cost like $300 or $400 or whatever. And we walked.
So now they have a value associated with it early.
Yep. So we want to set value high, so that the price seems like it's really low, and we want to stack the offer so that people they want the thing, and they realize that there's a price to it. So all of these pieces, the components of the offer, the reasons why they want to buy, and the concerns that they have, all of those have to be in the presentation.
That's awesome.
So yeah, hey, this client bought this thing. It cost like $500. We sat them down and walked through this, this, and this, and here's what they had to say about it. So you're getting social proof.
Now they're almost already being sold on the original price. So when you drop the price or almost take certain things away, it's almost like, how do I not get this right now? I was already sold. I was ready to buy the 500 thing already.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And what a lot of times people forget to do is, or forget about is, they forget that the people in the audience don't know what you know.
Right.
I made this mistake in the past. So you get up and you're like, okay, look, and then I'm going to throw this bonus in, and you do it at minute 57 of your session. Yeah, you know what it is because you've delivered that thing before, and you got 100 people in the room that have never heard of it. So there's no value built up in it. So when you throw it in, you're like, man, they should totally want this. You have to create the value in their mind, which is why you do it through the lens of a client story, and you want to tie the value to it. So yeah, you get, in that case I was giving you, get the client story.
Okay.
So you got social proof. You get the value in terms of the dollar amount, and you're raising it up.
Right.
And you get that they start to identify with, oh, I really want that thing. Like you're calling out the things that you know that they're going to need help with, that they're going to be thinking about anyway. So like as a very practical tip to do this, what you do is you write out your offer, which is, here's my core program, here's the price, and what's the value, and here are my bonus things, and what are the value of the bonus things. Okay. So you write all those out. Then you say, what are the main reasons why people should buy this? Okay. I want to write those out. And then I want to write out, what are all the reasons why somebody's going to say no?
Okay.
You do this before you start planning any of your meeting.
Right, no slides yet.
No slides, no content, no topic, nothing.
Right. Okay.
So I've got that dialed in. Now what I'm going to do is, that's like a checklist. Now I come over and say, okay, what can I talk about? What can I teach? What can I share with them that at the end will have them want to buy this? So I've got to come up with a topic, and then how do I add the details of the topic so that I can check off that every one of these is handled? I've already talked about the core program. I've already talked about bonuses 1, 2, and 3. I've already talked about all the reasons why they should buy, and I've already addressed like proactively all the doubts.
Right.
And that becomes, those are all the things that I've got to get into my presentation as I start to go outline it. So, I mean, I could go on and on. We could do a whole course on it, but that's like,
we probably could, huh?
That's like.
Thanks so much for joining us today. If you like this episode, then subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher, and to our YouTube channel to never miss an episode. You can get all the links by going to thegsdshow.com. Thanks, and see you next time.